you, Michelle, very, very much. Goodness knows I'm extremely honored to be here and grateful even to be allowed in as a contributor to the Lab School's great mission. I have to thank my friends Mike and Layli Tonga and Catherine so much. And I want to say what a pleasure it's been, and congratulate as well my fellow recipients of this award. To meet them and to be with them in the presence of these young people today was illuminating. It's always illuminating to be in the presence of Lab School students. I get so much more than I could possibly ever give. You know, I resisted the idea of choosing theme music for my introduction tonight till I realized it would allow me to reveal what I'm sure you have all been wondering about me, which is to say, which Beatle do I identify with? Ringo, the dumb one, the fuck up, smiling and goofy all the way to the bank. It also lets me express what I've noticed in my visits, even and particularly today, regarding what the Lab School experience is all about for its fortunate student recipients, which is to say, a cohort of gifted friends, dedicating their lives to bringing learning within reach of young people who would most certainly not find learning to be so attractive and rewarding and life-changing as the rest of us know it can be. Ringo, God love him, also allows me to date myself and reminds me of how long I've been steadily adapting to having a learning difference, to being dyslexic. Dyslexic wasn't even a word I knew in darkest Mississippi in the 1960s. I wasn't exactly the dumb one, but I was certainly the fuck up. The one who teachers continually said wasn't applying himself. If I had the Lab School in my life, I might have been able to miss out on several impressive scrapes with the law and with the juvenile court and with the probation authorities, would have stolen fewer cars, broken into fewer houses, gotten into fewer fights, possibly not broken my mother's heart. There are really, you know, a lot of things a teenage boy can find to do when he is not home reading The Scarlet Letter and Huckleberry Finn. I never read a book while I was in high school, in large part because I read and read so slowly. So I was not at home reading. I was busy doing something else. But since experiencing dyslexia is in part, as I said, about adapting yourself to your abilities and proclivities such as mine were, if I hadn't broken into those houses, hadn't had my nose resculptured, and encountered the police, I might not have become a novelist. I might not have had the material, might not have written the stories about people on the margins of conventional life, might not have had the empathy and the patience to believe that such lives are worth telling and imagining. I might have been a lawyer. And this makes me understand why, in my case, and in the case of many others, dyslexia is called a learning difference rather than a disability, because it brings its own, as Vin said often but not enough, but said it well, it brings its own unique gifts. In particular, it does if there are some friends around to help you perceive your gifts for what they are. It has to be said that my degree of learning difference and dyslexia are not severe, or I simply couldn't have gotten by on my own. But in my case, reading painfully slowly, which was what I figured out I had to do, what apply myself came to mean, not letting it frustrate me, not letting others' way of reading deter and frighten me. Reading so slowly, I found, actually admitted me to aspects of language that are not just the cognitive aspects of language. That language isn't just a means of communication, that words are not just one-on-one windows onto meaning, and that learning isn't just acquiring information, which is what a lot of us think it is today. Reading so slowly, which I still do, I can read silently about as fast as I can read this. Reading so slowly allowed me to see that language has a corporeal and a richly sensuous side. There are all those palpable syllables, those rhythms, those sounds, those fricatives and glottals and schwa-es and sibilants, which become integral to what every word is and means, and highly intimate and relevant to the pleasure we all of us take in reading, and to the way we vitally choose the words we use when we talk and when we write. Language and the literature it makes up become, with this awareness gained from reading slowly, become not so much a difficulty as much as a precious, pleasurable, as I said, gift. And with the right amount of empathy for and application to the lives of others, it becomes possibly even a vocation. So you can see why, having the life experience that I've had and knowing what I know, you can see why that the chance to have anything at all to do with the lab school and with my friends here is such an inspiriting opportunity for me. I get to make use of myself, not as a model, not as a success story, but as a specimen, a human exhibit in these young people's educations, in their efforts to make themselves useful in the lives they've been given. Lucky lives, really, really lucky lives. Thank you.